So let's look at stress, because this is a great time of the semester to be able to do that. The stress was described over 70 years ago by Dr. Hans Selye. And so it's the non-specific response to the body to any demand for change. And it's a widely accepted definition, but non-specific. So what is for that individual? And that's why they have the modern interpretation. It's very variable. What one person finds stressful, another person is not going to find stressful. But I like this notion in the modern interpretation is that the demands on you exceed your personal and social resources that the individual is able to mobilize. I think that's a very good point. There are only so many hours in a day. There's only so much you can do in a day, and we're all very, very busy. So this is the general adaptation syndrome, and we've talked about this in this class and exercise physiology. So this is your fight or flight response. So this is from Hans Selye. So when you have that initial level of stress, you're going to have this alarm reaction, and then your body, starts to compensate for that, and you sort of can come back up to normal functioning, and you can even build up a little bit of resistance for a while. But eventually, if the stress doesn't resolve itself, then that person's going to be affected, and they're at risk for stress-related diseases. So that's when your burnout comes, your mild depression. So all those things can happen in that burnout phase. And as you know, you look at people who are caregivers, the caregiver oftentimes is almost as sick as the person that they're taking care of because of that. And just think too, common causes of stress, and especially in the college population. Obviously, exams, finals, grades, costs of college, car problems, social, relationships. If you've got any extracurricular activities, gosh, they're great, but they add a lot to your schedule. So, these are things that, people will find stressful. Positive things can be stressful as well. Somebody getting married, having a child, taking a vacation, buying a new car. So, yes, can be eustress, which is the positive stress, but we tend to think of stress as distress, the negative. Let's look at general anxiety disorders. Again, this is the National Institute of Mental Health definition. Excess worry, sleepiness, difficulty concentration. And yes, everybody can have this to some degree, but this is where it can become debilitating and truly interfere with somebody's life. So everyone has a little bit of anxiety, especially this time of the semester, but it can be debilitating anxiety. So you can see it's about 3% of the population, but the median onset is 31, so young adulthood, going into middle age. Depending on where you work, you may work with clients who have post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. We do tend to obviously think about this with respect to people who have military service, but it can be, sexual violence, a mugging. It could be something like a car accident, disasters. So, any scary event can produce PTSD. Working as a rescue worker, first responder. So once again, not a high amount of the population, but about 3.5% of the population, and can develop at any age. Children can have PTSD, but you can see the median age of onset is in young adulthood.